Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a comparison for you between these two knives right here. This is the Spyderco Dragonfly 2 in ZDP 189 steel. This is the Spyderco Lil Native in S30V steel. And this Lil Native is a very new knife, and a lot of people are wondering, well, what's the difference between this and the Dragonfly? Well, practically speaking, I'm just going to focus on the contrast here. There are a number of differences that might be relevant to you and might make one of these a better choice than the other one. In terms of size, they're actually remarkably similar. Blade length, they are very, very similar. I mean, this is not a huge, distinction there. And in terms of carryability, they're both pretty similar, although the Native is 100% a bigger knife, both in terms of weight as well as otherwise. I mean, here, if we do the comparison, coming up at, 2.4 ounces versus 1.2 ounces. That's a contrast there. And so size and weight-wise might make the distinction for you alone. If you're looking for the smallest knife possible in the pocket, the Dragonfly is going to win this round. Another area where the Dragonfly might win this round is in the blade, both because the blade stock is way thinner, and frankly, the Dragonfly, as a result, is just a better cutter. In my life, I tend to have, I do a lot of things like cutting into foam or blister packages, cardboard, surfaces that, having a really wide blade is not advantageous for, and so for me, in my kinds of cutting, the Dragonfly is absolutely the better tool. But if you're looking for a beefier blade, with a little bit more durability at the edge and things like that, the Native, Lil Native that is actually a pretty compelling choice. And so that's another thing that's going to make a big distinction for you. The other thing to note is that the base model Dragonfly is using a steel which is VG10, which is an okay budget steel, but it's just not up to the same performance levels as S30V, or in this case, ZDP 189. But you can get the ZDP version for less than the cost of the Native here, so yeah, keep that in mind anyways. Next thing that's going to be a really big contrast between these guys is the locking mechanism. This guy is a back lock, which means that to unlock the blade, you press in this little area, fold the knife shut. You can absolutely operate a back lock one-handed. It just takes a little bit of getting used to and maybe a little bit of adjustment on the knife. But the compression lock here, the Spyderco compression lock, uses this little leaf that when the knife pops over, locks open, and then when you press it shut, allows the knife to unlock again. The compression lock is a stronger lock. Well, back locks are pretty damn strong, but the compression lock in this case is probably a little bit stronger. Both of these are going to be absolutely strong enough for anything you're doing with a knife this size anyways. But the compression lock has the major advantage that closing the knife is very, very simple. You can pop the knife open and then close it just as quickly without any repositioning or anything, and your fingers never enter the blade path. So, that is something you're going to want to keep in mind. Another big difference that might be a difference for some folks is that this knife here, even though these are both made by Spyderco, which is an American company, this guy is made in the USA, in their Golden, Colorado factory. This guy is made in Seki City, Japan. And so if your geopolitical views have influenced your buying patterns, that might be a major factor for you. Otherwise, this guy is just a beefier knife. This has full liners. You can see here that under this G10 sort of thing, these are just, there's metal all the way underneath there. Whereas on this little guy, this is just basically mostly plastic, and then there is a lock bar here as well as the blade. And so if you're looking for something that you really can beat on, that you can, hammer into a tree and use as a stair step because you're an idiot and that's what you do with 2.5-inch folding knives, then this is going to be a better choice, whereas this guy is going to be a little bit more lightweight, and it's not going to be suited for super hard use sorts of tasks. Ultimately, it's going to be more a question of your needs. For me personally, the Dragonfly wins by a mile. This is a little bit too thick for a lot of my cutting. It's, I don't necessarily need this kind of beefitude in a knife that's this small. The fact that you can get this ZDP steel, I like ZDP a lot. This is the winner for me, but I can very easily see it going the other way for you. So anyways, those are the differences, or at least some of the differences between the Dragonfly and the Lil Native here. Both very nice knives, but they're very nice knives targeting very different approaches. And there you go. Hope this has been interesting to you. Have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.